The London Eye is a giant Ferris wheel on the south bank of the River Thames in London. Also known as the Millennium Wheel, its official name was originally the British Airways London Eye, then the Merlin Entertainments London Eye, and since January 2011, the EDF Energy London Eye. The entire structure is 135 meters tall and the wheel has a diameter of 120 meters. When erected in 1999, it was the world's tallest Ferris wheel. Its height was surpassed by the 160 AM Star of Nanchang in 2006, the 165 AM Singapore Flyer in 2008, and the 167.6 AM High Roller in 2014. Supported by an A-frame on one side only, unlike the taller Nanchang and Singapore wheels, the Eye is described by its operators as the world's tallest cantilevered observation wheel. It is currently Europe's tallest Ferris wheel, and offered the highest public viewing point in London until it was superseded by the 245-metre observation deck on the 72nd floor of the Shard, which opened to the public on February 1, 2013. It is the most popular paid tourist attraction in the United Kingdom with over 3.5 million visitors annually, and has made many appearances in popular culture. The London Eye adjoins the western end of Jubilee Gardens, on the south bank of the River Thames between Westminster Bridge and Hungerford Bridge, in the London Borough of Lambeth. Design and construction. The London Eye was designed by architects Frank Anatole, Nick Bailey, Steve Chilton, Malcolm Cook, Mark Sparrowhawk, and the husband and wife team of Julia Barfield and David Marks. Mace was responsible for construction management, with Hollandia as the main steelwork contractor and Tilbury Douglas as the civil contractor. Consulting engineers Tony G and Partners designed the foundation works while Beckett Rankine designed the marine works. Nathaniel Litchfield and Partners assisted the Tussauds Group in obtaining planning and listed building consent to alter the wall on the south bank of the Thames. They also examined and reported on the implications of a Section 106 agreement attached to the original contract. Later, they also prepared planning and listed building consent applications for the permanent retention of the attraction, which involved the coordination of an environmental statement and the production of a planning supporting statement detailing the reasons for its retention. The rim of the Eye is supported by tensioned steel cables and resembles a huge spoked bicycle wheel. The lighting was redone with LED lighting from Color Kinetics in December 2006 to allow digital control of the lights as opposed to the manual replacement of gels over fluorescent tubes. The wheel was constructed in sections which were floated up the Thames on barges and assembled lying flat on piled platforms in the river. Once the wheel was complete, it was lifted into an upright position by a strand jack system made by Inapac. It was first raised at 2 degrees per hour until it reached 65 degrees, then left in that position for a week while engineers prepared for the second phase of the lift. The project was European with major components coming from 6 countries. The steel was supplied from the UK and fabricated in the Netherlands by the Dutch company Hollandia, the cables come from Italy, the bearings came from Germany, the spindle and hub were cast in the Czech Republic, the capsules were made by Poma in France, and the electrical components from the UK. Passenger capsules. The wheel's 32 sealed and air-conditioned ovoidal passenger capsules, designed and supplied by Poma, are attached to the external circumference of the wheel and rotated by electric motors. Each of the 10-ton capsules represents one of the London boroughs, and holds up to 25 people, who are free to walk around inside the capsule, though seating is provided. The wheel rotates at 26 cm per second so that one revolution takes about 30 minutes. It does not usually stop to take on passengers. The rotation rate is slow enough to allow passengers to walk on and off the moving capsules at ground level. It is, however, stopped to allow disabled or elderly passengers time to embark and disembark safely. In 2009, the first stage of a £12.5 a million capsule upgrade began. Each capsule was taken down and floated down the river to Tilbury Docks in Essex. On June 2, 2013, a passenger capsule was named the Coronation Capsule to mark the 60th anniversary of the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. Opening. The London Eye was formally opened by then Prime Minister Tony Blair on December 31, 1999, although it was not opened to the public until March 9, 2000 because of technical problems. On June 5, 2008 it was announced that 30 million people had ridden the London Eye since it opened. Ownership and branding. In 2006 the Tussauds Group bought out the other two joint owners, British Airways and the Marks Barfield family. Following Merlin Entertainments' purchase of the Tussauds Group in 2007, it now owns 100% of the Eye. British Airways continued its brand association, but from the beginning of 2008 the name British Airways was dropped from the logo. On August 12, 2009 the London Eye saw another rebrand, this time being called the Merlin Entertainments London Eye to show Merlin Entertainments' ownership. A new logo was designed for the attraction, this time taking the form of an eye made out of London's famous landmarks. This coincided with the launch of Merlin Entertainments' 4D Experience pre-flight show underneath the ticket centre in County Hall. The refurbished ticket hall and 4D cinema experience were designed by architect Kay Elliott working with Merlin Studios project designer Craig Sieber. Merlin Studios later appointed SimXI Works as the 4D theatre hardware specialists. The film was written and directed by 3D director Julian Napier and 3D produced by Phil Streether. In January 2011, a lighting up ceremony marked the start of a 3-year deal between EDF Energy and Merlin Entertainment. Financial difficulties. On May 20, 2005, there were reports of a leaked letter showing that the South Bank Centre owners of part of the land on which the struts of the Eye are located had served a notice to quit on the attraction along with a demand for an increase in rent from £64,000 per year to £2.5 a million, which the operators rejected as unaffordable. On May 25, 2005, London Mayor Ken Livingstone vowed that the landmark would remain in London. He also pledged that if the dispute was not resolved he would use his powers to ask the London Development Agency to issue a compulsory purchase order. The land in question is a small part of the Jubilee Gardens, which was given to the SBC for £1 when the Greater London Council was broken up. The South Bank Centre and the British Airways London Eye agreed on a 25-year lease on February 8, 2006 after a judicial review over the rent dispute. The lease agreement meant that the South Bank Centre, a publicly funded charity, would receive at least £500,000 a year from the attraction, the status of which is secured for the foreseeable future. Tussauds also announced the acquisition of the entire one-third interests of British Airways and the Marks Barfield family in the Eye as well as the outstanding debt to BA. These agreements gave Tussauds 100% ownership of the Eye and resolved the debt from the Eye's construction loan from British Airways, which stood at more than £150 a million by mid-2005 and had been increasing at 25% per annum. Critical reception. Sir Richard Rogers, winner of the 2007 Pritzker Architecture Prize, wrote to the London Eye in a book about the project. The Eye has done for London what the Eiffel Tower did for Paris, which is to give it a symbol and to let people climb above the city and look back down on it. Not just specialists or rich people, but everybody. That's the beauty of it, it is public and accessible, and it is in a great position at the heart of London. Writing for G2 in an article from August 2007, Steve Rose described the Eye as follows. The Eye exists in a category of its own, it essentially has to fulfill only one function, and what a brilliantly inessential function it is, to lift people up from the ground, take them round a giant loop in the sky, then put them back down where they started. That is all it needs to do, and thankfully, that is all it does. Predecessor. A predecessor to the London Eye, the Great Wheel, was built for the Empire of India exhibition at Earl's Court and opened to the public on July 17, 1895. Modelled on the original Chicago Ferris wheel, it was 94 meters tall and 82.3 meters in diameter. It stayed in service until 1906, by which time its 40 cars had carried over 2.5 million passengers. The Great Wheel was demolished in 1907 following its last use at the Imperial Austrian Exhibition. Transport links. The nearest London Underground station is Waterloo, although Charing Cross, Embankment, and Westminster are also within easy walking distance. Connection with National Rail services is made at London Waterloo Station and London Waterloo East Station. London River services operated by Thames Clippers and City Cruises stop at the London Eye Pier. References. External links, official website, architect's website, London Eye /Shuri, live London Eye webcam.